good evening, everyone. Vanessa Rufus here alongside sports reporter Ashley Stroline, your evening crew here to talk about the Olympics. Stro, we are entering our final week of the games.
I know it's crazy. We were talking earlier about how much sports programming we've had on WCNC just in the last year, right? From the summer games to the Super
Yes.
Bowl this weekend. We're in the midst of the Winter Olympics. So it just keeps going. And it's just been so exciting to see some of these events and how it's all played out.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun. And obviously, as we mentioned, we got a whole week to go here, folks. And so there's going to be a lot of things for folks to watch tonight. I know a lot of eyes are going to be on downhill skiing and Team USA's Mikaela Shiffrin. She's already done a few events at this point, and this is apparently going to be her first time doing Olympic downhill. And that's set to get underway, actually, I'd say like any minute at this point. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But it would be great for her to have a good showing. I know she was a little wobbly in two events before going into Super G.
Yeah, she said she actually had a good practice session and she said, all right, I feel like I'm good. I got the green light. Let's go. She, I think, actually wanted to try this event in the previous Olympics, but it didn't work out with scheduling and some stuff that happened that way. But she said she was second from Team USA when it came to practicing earlier. So she's going to give it a go and hopefully she does well. And like you said, just kind of gets her confidence back after that tough start to these games.
Yeah, we know that by the time she got to Super G, she had already skied out in giant slalom and in slalom, and she ended up finishing ninth in Super G, but she seemed pretty pleased, as she should be, considering it was her first time doing it. And I know she, like you kind of mentioned, was looking to get some confidence back. So for folks who are interested, it sounds like Shiffrin is going to be 12th on the start list. So we will be watching that. I got my TV on there on the side. So if I'm peeking over to my left, that's because I'm keeping an eye out for her. I know something that you're particularly excited about, Stro. That's women's hockey.
Yeah, I've been following these ladies. They've been doing so good, and now they have a chance to go for gold. They took down Finland in their last match that put them in that gold medal matchup, and it is against their rival, Canada. They've already played Canada once. That was in the Group A bracket earlier during the Olympics. Canada did beat them. All that did for them was kind of put them higher up in the next round. But now it's a clean slate. They're going to go head-to-head for the gold. They've played each other a number of times before. Canada does have a few more gold medals than Team USA when they faced off, but doesn't mean they can't get the job done this time. It should be exciting.
Yeah, so true. I mean, you talked about the meeting that they've been doing over these many years. I mean, US and Canada have faced off in 6 of the 7 Olympic women's hockey finals. And you mentioned kind of Canada having a little bit of a leg up in the medal count. Canada has won gold 4 times. The US will be looking for its second straight Olympic gold against Canada. So this is going to be a fun one to watch.
It will, yeah. And I actually kind of went through what some of the ladies on the team were saying. And Hillary Knight, she's a forward for Team USA, and she just said, I think it's wonderful. Hockey, it's the most beautiful rivalry in sports. It gets the best and worst out of both of us at the same time, and it's just a wonderful game. So countdown to that. I believe that matchup will be on Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday, 11:10. 11:10.
All right. I'm not trying to keep up with the time difference. It's too much for me. So
that's something for me. I always have to, like, when I'm checking the times, I'm like, okay, that's our time. And that makes sense because I know we have our late news for WCNC Charlotte is scheduled to go on at 10:30. We know sometimes that can change a little bit depending on what happens. So that would make sense why we are 10:30, and then you just tune in and keep on watching right into women's hockey.
Hang out with us, catch the gold medal hockey game. See what happens.
Yeah. So of course we know it is Valentine's Day. So what would Valentine's Day be without talking about love? Love is in the air.
The good stuff.
Yeah. I'm so just tickled to see all of the different storylines, Stro, when it comes to couples in the Olympics. You've got couples who are competing together. You have couples who are competing against each other. And then you have like couples who are kind of doing different things, but they're both at the Olympic Games, and so they can kind of watch each other. And it's just been fun to see that.
Yeah, or even couples that once were that are no more, but stay together for the sake of their sport because they've done so well together. I mean, that's got to be interesting. Great that you can have that kind of partnership, and hopefully their new partners understand that it's all for the love of the game.
So yes, particularly, when we talk about that scenario you just described, folks might see that popping up in the situation with ice dancer Madison Hubble, who was engaged to Spain's Adrian Diaz. There we go. Oh, nope, that's not that. There we go. Okay, we got Adrian Diaz there, and then you can see Madison Hubble there on the left. So they are engaged. Obviously, they are competing against each other, but not just that. So you'll notice there on the left-hand side, Madison Hubble is partnered up with Zachary Donahue, and they are exes, which is such an interesting dynamic, as you mentioned, Stro. So, I mean, they ended up taking home a bronze together, but that's pretty incredible when you consider that they're no longer romantically involved. And so you just kind of have to wonder about the dynamics there.
But I love that in a way, right? It kind of goes to show, okay, we didn't work out as a couple, but we can work through this. We can stay friends and we can go out here and compete together. So I think maybe like they're a lesson for a lot of people. Maybe they had, I don't know anything about their personal life, but maybe they, took some time apart, got through it, the personal issues, and said, all right, we're good. Let's be friends. Like, why not? So, and maybe they'll medal. Maybe we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, they definitely, they got some good vibes going when you consider that they teamed up first in 2011. They became a romantic couple shortly afterwards. And then a few years later, they ended up ending that romantic relationship, but they just stuck with it. And altogether, they've won 3 national championships and 16 Grand Prix medals. So they definitely got some good mojo cooking, at least when it comes to on ice dynamics. So that's pretty.
And you brought up, we were talking about Mikaela earlier, and she obviously is dating a Norwegian skier that's competing in the games. And I don't want to butcher his name. You might do a better job at that than me. But it was interesting because they were asking, like, are you guys doing anything in the Olympic Village together for Valentine's Day? And she said, we might have dinner together, but we're going to have one of those plastic dividers separating us. So no romance for them, even though it's Valentine's Day and they are a couple.
Yeah, the COVID situation is making for just such an unusual games, as we saw with the summer games, but also here with the winter games. And yeah, that is kind of just odd to think that they would, be partnered up and cannot really do a whole lot of interacting in that sense. I think we showed a picture earlier of the ice dance partners. I don't know if we could cue that up again, but they are just, I believe the people are just loving watching them and their relationship. And I can certainly see why. Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, they are partners on the ice. They are partners off the ice. And it's just clear as day that they just love skating and they love being with each other. So how great is that to have somebody kind of in your corner who understands what you are trying to do, maybe understands the work that goes into all of the hard work that goes into being an Olympian and can share that journey with you. That's wonderful.
No, that's so well put. And like you said, right, like it's so hard for a lot of people to understand maybe the sacrifice, the dedication, the time that you have to put into your sport. You only get so many chances to go and compete in the Olympics. And so then to have someone in your corner, in this case that you're competing with, right? In some cases, in some of the other couples, it's their coach is their partner. So, I think it's just a really beautiful thing when you have someone that just understands it because they're living it with you. And in this case, like you said, everyone's enjoying the dynamic and you can kind of tell like, okay, they really have a lot of love for each other.
Yeah, certainly so. And I believe we also have a picture to share here. Ashley Caldwell and Justin Schoenfeld. So these are freestyle skiers, and they're also a couple. And they actually just won a gold medal in mixed team aerials. And the kind of funny thing, and we talked about them a little bit in for folks who don't watch, but hopefully you should be watching our Olympic Zone show. So this is a show that we are running every evening before our Olympics coverage. It runs at 7:30, and you kind of get all the fun backstories and just all of the wonderful local, connections to the Olympics. through the show, but we talked about them this evening. The funny thing is, so they've teamed up in the mixed team aerials debut event, and they are with Chris Lillis. So they're a three pairing, if you will. And they just actively joke about how Chris is the third wheel.
Oh, no. Hey, sometimes you got to play that part. I mean, what can you do?
To be fair, he considers himself, at least he said in his interview, the world's best third wheel.
See, you just got to own it. Own it. Good job, Chris. But you know, it's interesting too, because I wonder, like, let's say you're competing together and one of you messes up, and like, are you talking after the event? Like, are you going to have some forgiveness, or, you know, I'm going to go over here for an hour and we'll talk about it later. Like, how passionate are you or forgiving?
Do you come with your partner hat on, or your
right?
Oh,
I mean, I think if you're an athlete, right, it's just you're competitive by nature. So you're probably going to have to walk away for a minute. Like, I love you and we'll be okay, but I'm gonna go over here for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Take a second. Oh, well, it has just been such a joy to see all of these Olympic storylines play out, and the ups and the downs. I mean, that's kind of what's part of it, right? Even the downs, but certainly enjoying seeing these victories and these fun little storylines in the background as well. And I just, once again, can't wait to see what Mikaela Shiffrin does tonight and how the rest of the games play out. It's been really just a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it has. And I think, like you were saying, like it's almost just as fun to watch them compete as it is to learn these backstories about who they are, and whether it's the couples that we were talking about or just little, you know, things about families. There's just so many cool moments that you see in sports and in the Olympics, whether it's the cutaway of, you know, mom and dad crying because it's years of hard work, or it's, you know, the wife and the kids, or husband and kids, whatever it is. And so those stories are just as special as what they're doing when they're going out and competing. So
yeah, it's just an important reminder that they're people just like us. They're just really good at sports.
Yes. I know. I don't even look when it comes to like winter games, and I didn't grow up around it. Like, no hockey for me. I think I went ice skating once or twice as a kid. I did play in the snow, but like, as far as having an athletic skill when it comes to the snow, I give these guys and gals major props, because it is not my forte.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. So we my fiance and I love to do skiing, but it's something that kind of came later in my life. Like, I didn't, you know, I grew up in the South, between Florida and Georgia. And so there really wasn't a lot of skiing to be had. And I just watch, you know, what these skiers are doing. And I'm like,
right.
If only I could even attempt to dabble. Meantime, I'm just like, French fry pizza down the mountain. But, you know, that will have to do. I can dream. I can watch them and dream.
Hey, you never know. You know, we've got some opportunities to ski not too far from here. You can get some lessons in.
Yeah, that's so true.
For me, skiing came as an elective in college. That was the first time. And so every like fall semester, a group of friends and I would be like, skiing 1, skiing 2, because you got the pass to go skiing for the winter. So that was my first experience with skiing. My professor said, "Oh, you're athletic. You should do snowboarding. You'll be great at it." Went my first time, tried snowboarding. I said, "Give me the skis. I can't do it." So I never went back to snowboarding. So
really,
that's my little story there.
I've often like mentally dabbled with, would it be easier to do snowboarding? Because, you know, the skis can be a little like kind of clunky, at least for me, because, you know, I'm a newbie, so getting up and down and all around the mountain is just
some people think snowboarding is easier. For me, it was not being able to move both of my feet however I wanted to freely, right? It was like just being, I don't know, not my thing. Here.
Hats off to all who do it. That's a talent.
And I did do a curling segment in previous years, and I left with bruises, so that is way harder than you think it could ever be.
Did you say curling?
Yeah, oh yeah. I went, there's, you know, the center that's not too far from here, and I left with like bruises. I was sore the next day, used muscles I had never used before. So I feel like people watch curling on TV and they just don't realize, it is a lot of effort, a lot of work.
I didn't realize that. And now that I know that, I'm really tempted to go try curling.
To go.
They want to get the challenge now.
Yes, do it. You'll do it. You'll feel the same way I did. You'll be like, oh my gosh.
Who was it? we just did a story on curling.
I think Ruby went and gave it a try.
Went, yeah. Oh
Yep.
goodness. I wish we could share a link to her piece in the comments, because that was fun.
I'm feeling a WCNC group trip to do curling. That's what I'm sensing here.
Yes. I like this. And then afterwards we can all go skiing.
There we go. Perfect. All right.
Well, I think we have covered a lot of good ground this evening.
Yeah, it's been fun. I think so. We've talked a lot of different topics, like you said, from love to on the ice, on the snow, all that stuff. And I think we actually have I think that's Ruby's link that just popped up there. If you guys want to go watch that story.
Yeah, a local place to go curling.
Charlotte Curling Association. So
all right.
Not too far from here.
Well, y'all, we are going to be on the television, maybe 11:30, but like we said, it kind of just depends on when all the fun and games wrap up. So we will be seeing you on TV later, and we thank you all for joining us for this web edition of WCNC Charlotte News at Olympics. And hope you have a great night.